Girl, stop playing.
Welcome back to another episode of the Girl Stop Playing podcast. It's your favorite homegirl, Coriel, here to encourage you to stop playing with your potential and start working for what you want in life and in love. Y'all already know that I believe you can make the money and you can get the honey. You can have it all as long as you are willing to work. And it's my goal to bring you the information and the conversations that help you do just that. This week's episode is brought to you by... It's really brought to you by me because y'all need to buy my new book, y'all. It's called Nobody is Coming to Save You. I'm going to link it below, but it is full of inspirational short stories from Black women just like you who pulled themselves up, discovered their purpose, and figured out how they could save themselves without having to wait for somebody to come along and save them. Speaking of this new book, I have one of my co-authors in the studio today, Miss Casey Cooper. She is a trucking federal contractor, the CEO of the Compass Circle, and homegirl is out here getting to these coins. So we got to get into it. Welcome, Casey.
Hi, Ko. Thanks for having me.
I am so excited we were able to get into this. This, of course, for people who, follow me on Instagram, have been keeping connected with me. Y'all know Casey. We've done things together in the past, and anytime I have an opportunity to bring you on my platform, it's my pleasure to do so because you are amazing, but also because the industry that you're in, the access to the information that you have, I feel like Black people have been late to the party on this conversation. So get your notebooks out because this is going to be a good one. So I mentioned that you are in the trucking space. You're a federal contractor. How did you get into trucking? Because when we hear trucking, like my brother's a trucker, my nephew's a trucker, it's always a man that I think of. So how did you get into the space?
So I got into trucking because when I was 15, I used to have vending machines, right? And so I would go to Costco and get my merchandise and fill it up. And so early on, I learned that I don't have to be the one making the money. So I got about 25 and I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna just buy a truck. It just was like an epiphany. And I did buy a truck and I put a driver in it, but I ended up having to drive. So it didn't go quite as planned. It worked out later. Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's kind of where the thought came from.
So you bought a truck, you put somebody in it, things happen like they always do. It didn't necessarily work out. And instead of you saying, okay, let me just hire another driver, you said, I'm going to figure out how I'm going to do this.
Right.
Yes. So did you end up like driving in the sense of just going to get your truck, or you got on the road and like started taking loads?
When I was purchasing the truck, I was at DMV getting my permit because I knew somebody has to learn how to like move this thing. And then I drove for 4 years on and off.
Shut up.
I did.
Did you?
Yeah.
What was that like? I didn't know this.
It was pretty like cool at first until I started breaking down 100 miles from home and being dirty every day.
Yeah.
But I got over it real quick. Like I didn't want to do it no more.
I'm seeing so many women getting into the space and doing, is it called tandem driving? Like two people in the truck together?
Running teams.
Yeah. How is the money being a driver versus being an owner?
So here's the thing. As a driver, you're only going to make so much because it's not your company. That's anywhere, right? As an owner, I mean, it's unlimited, but you have more risk, you have more issues, you have more problems. It's like kids. You got, each kid makes you more money, but it's also more issues.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of like a toss-up. You really got to decide what you want to deal with and kind of work backwards.
How do you show up as a woman, as an attractive woman, as a Black woman in these spaces, having these conversations when it is typically like a white male-dominated space?
I'm so used to it now. I just bust in the room like, hey, I just bring my full self. At first, when like earlier on, I was kind of intimidated because I am a beautiful woman, you know what I mean? And it is mostly white. But you just got to go in there and just be you, and the right people will gravitate towards you.
So when did you get into, because trucking, okay, we've heard about it. Federal contracting with trucking, I feel like we don't know enough about it. Right. When did you transition, or how was the transition from I'm working with the dispatcher, I'm getting these loads, which is like the traditional way of doing things, to I have more guaranteed income and loads with contracts?
It was actually, I was kind of against it, to be honest, because I had the trucks, I had 5 trucks, 5 trailers, 5 drivers. That's a lot of financial bandwidth. That's a lot of responsibility. So I was so plugged in and so just in my zone every day. When I heard about contracts, I didn't really at first take it as serious as I probably should have. But once I did, I mean, it took me 2 months to get my first contract. And once that happened, yeah, I was like, to hell with them trucks. I'm not doing
You was off to the races.
I was off to the races.
I know in your chapter in the book, it said like your moment of knowing you had to save yourself was when you realized you were thinking too small.
Yeah.
Is that what you were referencing? Like that there was another way of doing things other than what you had become used to? Not
even thinking too small. I think we go into business upside down. White people go get the contract first, which tells them who, what, when, where, how, and how much. We go run to go dig the ditch, right? And then
they'll be throwing our money in there.
You just can't expand doing the work all the time. So I had to just kind of pivot, take a step back, get rid of every asset-based truck I had, because now I hire people to do the work for me. Mm-hmm. And it really like changed my whole entire like life.
Grew from there.
Oh my God.
Okay, so I cannot still wrap my mind around 2 months to get in the contract.
2 months.
Did you have to go through the certification process, or was that not a requirement of the contract? Because in my mind, and I think a lot of people, what holds us back is we're coming up with all of these obstacles that probably don't even exist.
Right.
So one of the obstacles that I, from the outside looking in, not knowing anything about it, is like, well, I have to be minority certified. I have to have all of those things. You did not need that before you got your first contract.
To be registered in SAMS, you don't have to be in business for any amount of time. You just have to have an EIN number, a DUNS number, a business bank account, and that's it. So I got my first contract with just those things. Then later, I got a like almost $6 million contract, but that was through another certification. So the certifications do make you more attractive, but you don't have to have any. Yeah, just to get in the game, no, you don't need any.
Okay. And SAMS is the
System
website
for
that you register with.
SAM.gov. And it's free.
$6 million.
Well, it's a little more than that now.
Come on, it's a little more than that now. That was the first one. The first one.
That was the third one, actually.
Okay. So what would you say, aside from what I just said, like the challenges, the obstacles to getting started, what would you say is like the biggest misconception with being able to become a federal contractor? Like what's holding people back that you can just like dispel for them?
I think most people think that they need all this equipment. They need all this, manpower. This is about facilitating the work the government needs. It's not about doing it yourself. Mm-hmm. So you can't do a $10 million project by yourself. You just can't do it.
Right.
You're going to have to bring in more partners. And so really in everyday life, that's how I work. I don't do a whole lot anymore. I hire out everything. I'm not doing nothing but overseeing. And that suits me much better.
Yes. Yeah. And it's less risk because having all this equipment in your name.
Right. Less
on
headache.
The road, it definitely is a lot. When you got that first contract, though, and I know it's been years, but can you think back to what was the biggest challenge, like something you wish you would have known before you got it that we can help people who want to get one prepared with?
On the first one?
The first one.
Nothing. It was great.
Easy peasy.
I never had to visit the facility. I got a great markup, and then I got another one 30 days later. And they just gave it to me. These are not contracts I had to bid for with no certifications. There was a need. I was in the game, and they called me and gave it to me.
Okay, so without certifications, without you bidding, there had to have been, in my mind, again, I might just be putting a limiting belief out there, but was it just someone knew of you, and they were like you?
No, the government don't work like that.
It wasn't like you were a subcontractor and there was a prime that just hit you?
No, I was the prime. So I'm a native of Virginia, so all my stuff started from there. Uh-huh. There was a contract in Northern Virginia, very close to D.C., for snow removal. It wasn't even for trucking. But I had so much past performance. I had been in business for 10 years at that point. They just picked up the phone and called me and was like, hey, can you do this? And I was like,
shut up. And you said, give me that money.
I did. And they gave it to me.
So now are some of your contracts where you are the prime and then you're going out looking for subs?
All of them. I don't sub to anybody because people won't pay you. That's the thing. That's the thing.
You saying you're not the sub on anybody's contract. You only are the prime and then you hire out.
I don't do business that way. You're not gonna pay me. I'm gonna pay
gonna
you.
Be the one. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So do you don't have to have a certification?
Nope.
Do you have to have your equipment first though?
Nope. You don't even have to have equipment. It's real different.
What?
Yeah.
How?
Because
Casey, how?
These are federal reservations. It's federal property. So the same rules don't apply in the regular local world. It doesn't work like that. It's so much money in the budget. It's more money in the budget than companies and people on the planet to do
the work.
Right. So we end up getting thrown stuff look, you in the area, this is what we need. Please come do it.
So you get the contract and then you go find people to fulfill.
Yes. And in some cases, depending on where the contract is, the incumbent or the previous person that had the contract, let's say it's Asheville, North Carolina, right? There's not that many, I'm just going to use snow removal, for example. There's not that many snow removal companies in that area. So your subs will tend to be the same, but the prime always changes. Feel me? So it's the same guy waiting on me to call him in the area. It's just I'm getting the work.
Why isn't he getting the work?
Because he don't know no better. Because he ain't in Sam.
That's like the difference between why all the people are driving the trucks versus...
Hello.
Wow. Next level information.
Next level.
And one thing that I've learned is that, and maybe it's not true, I hope that it is, that you can pass these contracts down.
Yes and no. Kind of. Yes.
Is this how other people
yes.
have been creating generational wealth?
So we talk about 8A certification. I'm in the 8A program. This is my...
Tell us what that is.
So 8A is a vehicle, it's a contract tool for women-owned minority companies who have disparities. We are disparaged. And so it allows...
You don't look disparaged, girl.
Well, I ain't no more. But I once was. And so it allows you to bypass the bidding process. So the government can give you contracts $7 million or less without having to bid.
Got you. Okay, so go ahead. So you're in the 8A.
I'm in 8A. The program lasts for 9 years. So what that looks like in real time is, let's say me or you or anybody else, we have a company, right? We get in the program. Your first 4 years are supposed to be like developmental because you're trying to figure it out, right? By years 5 to 6 to 7, each year they want to see the percentage of those contracts kind of go down, because when you get to year 9, they don't want you dependent on that vehicle. However, most people don't do that. If somebody's giving you all this money, you're going to keep taking it. So if you make $100 million in the life of the span of the
9
certification, they're going to kick you out. But at $100 million,
who cares? Kick me out.
Right, kick me out. But what they will do is get a younger 8A company to give the work that they left on the table, you know, the contracting officers that they know, and kind of bring them along and get the money that way.
So for someone who is in this space, maybe they are a driver or maybe they are an owner and they have drivers, what would be the route for them to transition into the way you're doing it right now?
So they need to definitely go to SAMS, www.sam.gov. That's free. Register. Get your paperwork together, get as many certifications as you can. Your phone can just ring because you are in there, and people won't tell you that, which is another misconception that I think is it's very limiting, you know, but it can happen. It happens to me regularly, especially once you start completing them and you get a good name and people start, you know, finding out about your company. And just kind of, you know, look and see what's out there. It's like 100,000 contracts that come out every single day all over the world. So there's no shortage of work. And at the end of the fiscal year, which we're past September 30th, but there's still money leftover. And there's also money for first quarter for next year. So it's money everywhere. And
I'm assuming every contract is different. So you could have a contract for a year or more than a year.
Yeah, typically they're 1 to 5 years. Typically they're like 5 years. You have like option 1, and then you can renew for the 4 years. But yeah, you're going to have longevity, great markups, less like energy. You're not out there digging the ditch no more.
And less stress because you ain't out here posting on social media trying to get paid.
Nope.
You just post for fun. I hate it.
Well, I post to educate.
You do be doing some educating.
Baby, listen, nobody can hang with me when it comes to...
You be putting that content out.
Listen.
At the Compass Circle.
At the Compass Circle.
Check her out. Okay, so I know we're talking about trucking specifically in the transportation space, but I have heard and seen some of the craziest requests out there, like for things that you can get contracts for.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So outside of transportation, what are some of like the craziest things that you've seen?
Toupees.
I know you're going to say that because I asked somebody,
I posted
wigs.
That. Yeah, wigs.
You posted toupees?
Yeah, it's way down my page. Toupees.
Oh, you mean you posted it on? I'm like, girl, why would you bidding for toupees? But you posted it on your page. Okay.
So like wounded warriors, when they come back from war, you know, they try to help them. Makeup, soybeans.
Now, why would you need makeup? Because the wigs I can get, it's like medical wigs and things like that.
Oh, I don't know.
It's
that convoluted. There are so many agencies, sub-agencies. They do so many things. Like I saw one for 12 white polar bears for scientists in Alaska. We're not thinking, you know, Department of Interior, all these other intricate agencies. You're not thinking about NASA. You're not thinking about research. You're not thinking about laboratories.
We're not thinking about anything. We're thinking about Instagram.
We're thinking about Instagram.
So the reason I brought that up, even though it doesn't have anything to do with trucking, is again, our people have so many limiting beliefs around the way we have to do business. I mean, I was at a lunch the other day. Shout out to David Shands. He got together a bunch of podcasters, and he was talking about how he got a contract with a corporate contract because they are creating a podcast division.
See?
And I'm over here like thinking about advertisers and thinking about, all of like the traditional ways that you get paid, but there's literally a whole world outside of just our limited scope of how to do business, and other communities have tapped into this, but we again are like late to the party when it comes to these conversations.
Yeah, it's real different over here.
Real different.
Real different.
And one of the things that I think we don't know or we're not educated on is the fact that the government has nothing. They don't make anything. They don't produce anything.
Right.
They're literally looking. That's where all of these contracts are coming from. They're not out here making wigs. They're not out here doing makeup. They're literally contracting small business owners like you and me, even though I don't think small business owners. She doing big business. But contracting these small business owners to be able to fulfill the need. Yeah. And for us, it's just like, no, if I do makeup, I got to do it on you. I got to, find you to do it. But you can literally get a contract for it.
Literally. It's real different. Yeah, they're the largest customer in the world. Paper clips to ketchup to rocket scientists to animals to, anything. They buy it all.
They buy it all. And we selling it. So we just got to start selling it in the right way. What do you think is something that you wish you would have known before even though your first contract was easy, knowing what you know now, having, doing it for so long, what would be like some advice that you would give someone before they get their first contract?
Get into project management. Like, that's the wave. It's not about having.
What does that mean? Explain that.
So you can manage the project. You're facilitating the work. You're basically not the middleman, but you're like the boss, and you're just making sure that everything gets
done.
Yeah, but you go hire what you need. Go hire the trucks. Go hire the staff, and then you mark it up. Make your money, let them come in and do the work because they're already doing it. Mm-hmm. You're giving them work. They're happy to get paid. And you have less stress. You're making more money and the job gets done and everybody's happy.
Y'all make it just sound so easy. Y'all make it sound so easy. And again, I've been like playing around with this paperwork, y'all. I know, don't do it. But I've literally been playing around with like the certification paperwork for at least like 3 years.
Go fill out the paperwork.
I need to stop. I need to stop playing. It's me. I'm the girl that needs to stop playing. Okay. So first steps to getting started, doing the SAMs. I'm assuming, would not recommend anybody, because trucking has become like this thing. Right. Trucking is like the thing to do, but most people are telling you how to buy a truck, what kind of truck you should buy, yada, yada, yada. Your recommendation.
Don't go buy no truck.
Don't
y'all go listen.
My recommendation.
What camera do I need to look into?
Don't even tell my business, but my recommendation: don't go out here buy no.
Don't go out here buy no truck. Okay.
Don't do that. Don't do like me. Yeah, look at that camera and tell the people what to do.
Don't go buy no truck. Don't do that.
What do they do? Go fill out the paperwork. And then find the people with the trucks.
Find the people with the trucks.
Okay, so speaking of finding the people with the trucks, I know, and I've been able to watch you even since I've known you, your business has evolved, right?
Definitely.
So now I see you talking a lot about the turnkey.
Yes.
Tell the people what that's all about.
So we have a program, it's called Turnkey. And I wish I had done this if I had known better. So if you're going to do trucking, I would say do it how we design it. We set up the trucking company for you. We do everything. Make sure you're all FMCSA compliant, drug and alcohol, everything you need. And then we hire the fleet for you, so that you can focus on being a better business owner. They have the truck, they have the note, they want to get paid, and you make a percentage of every load that they carry.
So you're like an investor.
No, you're like Uber, but just for trucks.
But your responsibility is putting the money up, right? Or no?
No, your responsibility is doing the payroll, of course, because we have in-house dispatchers that keep the trucks moving. So when you get paid, you have to make sure that you do the weekly deductions, pay your driver, and that's your involvement. So it's passive.
My head is spinning. I'm sorry. I'm trying to.
It's so easy.
It's just enlightening. I
try to simplify everything. Yeah.
I didn't know it was a thing.
We think too hard.
We do. And then we don't be making no money. And the fact that you have children, two children, while you are managing all of this, I'm assuming, because I always, when people have kids, I'll be like, how are you doing anything? Like, how is it possible? But you figured out a smarter way to do it. So you aren't in it every single day. No. But I know that they know what's going on. Like they've obviously grown up in the business and, you know, been a part of the evolution. What is like the thing that you want them to take away from what they've seen you do?
So my children are being reared in a dynasty. Like, you don't have a choice. My son is 14, 15. He just turned 15. He works for me already. My daughter will do the same. He will run my company, and that's your option.
That's it.
Yeah, you're not going to work at Wendy's.
How do you feel about college?
Oh, it's great, but my kid's not going.
They're not. So they can't go. Can they go?
If they wanted to go.
But it's not a necessity, obviously, but you'll let them go if
my kids are homeschooled, so they're not.
Are they?
Yeah, girl, I got to simplify my life, honey.
But you're not teaching the lessons.
No.
Girl, let's talk about that, okay? We didn't even know this, but I just be asking my own personal questions because
Ask away.
This is a conversation. Listen, I kid you not, today, just this morning, I went into my son's in Montessori.
Okay.
That tuition is college tuition. Kid you not.
I already know.
I have another baby on the way.
Yes, you do.
Yes, I do. I went in there today and was like, hey, can you give me the price list for the infants?
30,000.
Baby.
I know.
I came back outside. I said, baby.
We got to have another retreat.
Yeah, we cannot. No. No, it's not happening. He like, I'm telling you, we're in the wrong business. We need to start a school. And he keeps saying that, and I don't think he's joking. I think he's serious. So my question is, I say all that to say, how do you do homeschool without you being responsible for doing the homeschool?
Because I outsource everything. I have a living nanny. We have professors that my kids meet with weekly, especially for like history. I'm not into the traditional. So they have.
Yeah, me either. But I don't know about being responsible for the.
Well, I'll give you the professor's number. You know, my kids learn about like Kemet and, you know, real metaphysics history and all that. They also have a math tutor, and then they have an online curriculum that they follow, and I try to simplify everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you heard of like, I don't know the technical term for this, but it's like pods?
Yeah. Like co-eds.
Yeah. Like they're still learning with other people. Because I think a big part of it is like the social aspect also of you not wanting your kids to just
I think that's a misconception.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
How do you feel about it?
I don't, because I mean, my kids are social. They went to school prior. We started off homeschooling, and then I was in the thick of it, so they went to private school, and then things picked up, and I could not keep this up and that, so something had to give.
Right.
And it's really the best decision I ever made. School is a lot, especially when your kids go to like a good school. You in school, really. And, you know, 2 of them is a lot. I'm not married or nothing, so like it just was a lot.
So when the first time doing homeschooling, were you doing it then, or you still had like a teacher that you hired?
I was doing it solely then, but mind you, this was like I was 27, so it was a little different.
Life was different then.
It was a little different, yeah. Wow. But I loved it.
How old were they at that time?
I only had my son. He was like 2, 3, 4, and then they went to school when he got like 9.
So in my mind, I used to be a teacher. I taught 2nd and 3rd grade.
I remember you did say that.
Right?
Yeah,
I taught 2nd and 3rd grade, and it's still a hell no for me. Only because I feel like, and I mean, he's like off to the races with Montessori. Like he's only 1, but he knows so much. And I have always known this since coming out of the classroom, because I saw the difference between the kids who went to private school for like pre-K, kindergarten, 1st grade versus the kids who just been in public the whole time. Light years ahead of the public school kids. So I always said I didn't necessarily believe in private school as an expense, but I always thought that doing it early was a good investment, because once you get that early stuff, that's the foundation. You're in there. So in my mind, my, you know, hang up is like, I don't want to be responsible for you knowing how to read. You know, like that is such a responsibility. If you mess that up, ooh, I don't want that on me. No. So I don't mind doing some of it. I just don't want to do all of it.
Well, I ain't doing none of it. Okay.
You ain't doing none of it. But your kids are older now.
So here's my thing. I think what we're saying is similar. We all have a hang up, right? My hang up was, so my mom dogged me. Like, I'm like, I got to take them out of school. And I felt so guilty because my career was really like taking off. And I went to the school and talked to the principal. I was like, I just can't do this no more.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do it. I got to get this money.
Yeah.
But once I did, and my mom was like, you so stupid. Da, da, da. I mean, she dragged me, right? And then a couple years later, COVID happened.
And everybody was homeschooling anyway.
And she was like, you so smart. Oh, my God. Da, 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 da. And I was like, girl, bye.
Told you.
Right. So I just got to get out of your own head. You got to do what works for you.
Mm-hmm.
You're running your own race. I run my own race. So I have to do what works best for me.
And it's working out.
And it's working.
And that be the thing. They be having all that to say until it start working. And they be like, you know what?
Yeah, put me on. What I got to do?
Speaking of your mama.
Speaking of my mama.
Your mama is a mess. Your mama doing these splits.
Busting
Follow
it.
her on Instagram at the Compass Circle. Okay, it's more than just trucking going on this
It's
Instagram.
way more than
okay?
just trucking
It's
going
way
on.
more than trucking. But I think that we are blessed to be a part of this new generation that we don't have to do it their way. You know, like we figured out our own way of doing it. Even if people look at us crazy by our decisions, most of the time when we truly are doing what we're led to do, it's going to work out. And then they're going to be asking, well, how did you do that?
Right. And I can't take advice from nobody that I wouldn't switch places from. And
Facts.
it ain't too many people that I would
you're
switch
willing
places.
to.
Hell no. So,
Yes.
you know, people asking me what to do. So it's working and I'm happy to be doing it.
Yes. And I'm happy that you are a part of this book because I mean, obviously, y'all are getting a glimpse at her story. And there's so many women out there who might look at you now and think, well, but she had this or she had that, and something that they don't have as an excuse or a limiting belief for why they can't have it or why they have to wait on someone to come along and save them, which is the whole premise of the book. So many diverse stories, okay? I'm talking about women who have dealt with homelessness, women who have dealt with domestic violence, and women who don't have that sad story. They were living their best life and it still wasn't the best life. So really, I think that y'all will be able to relate with somebody out of the book. But if you could summarize like in one statement of why women need to save themselves, what would that be?
Because you can't depend on nobody, especially when you got babies. Like, I can't look at my kid and say, I can't figure it out. I can't do it today. I don't have it. It's not an option.
It's not an option.
So you got to figure it out.
You got to figure it out. And these babies will bring some stuff up out of you. Like some stuff that you ain't know that you had.
Yeah. If it wasn't for my kids, I don't know what I'd be doing.
That was like I see it now. Yeah. Like so many women who have like really figured it out, they had a baby to motivate them. That's know, like the thing that could be looked at as a burden literally is your blessing because it's going to push you to, it got to work or it got to work.
I mean, imagine me not feeding them because somebody not feeding me. That's crazy.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
No, that can't work like that.
Listen, grab a copy of the book. We just got into a little bit of it. For the trucking at the Compass Circle, definitely check my girl out. But what else? What do they need to know? Because I know they heard you say about this turnkey and they like, how do I turn the key? Where do I sign up? So look in this camera right here and let the people know how they can find you online.
So we are so easy to find. We are at the Compass Circle on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. And you can
on TikTok too, girl?
I'm on TikTok, real heavy, girl.
You be dancing?
No.
Okay.
I'll be educating.
Okay, gotcha.
And our website is www.thecompasscircle.com.
Check my girl out. She is legit, y'all, in this space. And I love that you are bringing other Black people along with you.
Absolutely.
Bringing us to the party.
Absolutely.
Y'all, get your copy of the book. I will make sure I link it in the show notes below. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Girls Stop Playing. Like, comment, subscribe, share. And if you happen to be listening on one of our audio platforms, leave your girl a 5-star review. See you on the next episode. Girl, hey, I hope you enjoyed that video. This channel is all about encouraging you to stop playing with your potential and start working for what you want in life and in love. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you'll be notified when the next video drops. And comment below and let me know what you want to see on the next video. Peace out.